Hi everyone, cynthialoowho here. I want to share with you my Winter Cha 2014 projects that all the Lindy Stamp Gang designers were to create a couple of projects showcasing all of the products in each set. So as you know, all of the magical micas are named after the Starburst now. So if you, let's say, you want Cotton Candy Pink, that will have a magical mica as well. So all the Starburst sets have matching magical micas, an embossing powder set. Some of them have glitters, and so some of them come in mega sets that have the Starburst set and the embossing powder. Some of them have epic sets, which have a Starburst set, then an Sidekick, which is 3 different sprays, Moonshadow, Flat Fabio, and a Glitz Spritz. It has the embossing powder set and the magical micas. Okay, so I have 2 sets, and one of them is Nantucket Pearls, and the other one, of course, is my Totally 80s. Even though Totally 80s was a little tough because it's more of a staple set than a coordinating set because the colors are, you know, a little bit different. But I'll explain that when I show you my project. But first, let's show you my Nantucket Pearl projects. This was a clock, and I mean, there's Nantucket Pearls is a gorgeous collection. This set was made by Arlene, and one of my very favorite colors, which is saltwater taffy, is the pink. So all of the pink that you see is saltwater taffy. But I also use the embossing powder and the magical mica. So also the Whale Watch blue, which is just a beautiful soft blue, a nice like almost a metallic blue. And then there's Cape Cod coral, and that's a nice soft coral. All of these colors are real soft. Clambake beige, and then seagrass green, and the green is just a beautiful green as well. So I just colored the flowers. Some of them I used some magical micas on. This is the embossing powder that matches the Whale Watch blue, which obviously they're not exact matches, but they're perfectly coordinating colors. So if you get an embossing powder set and you're looking at it going, what? That doesn't match exactly. Well, that's not the point. The point is it coordinates. So some of them will match exactly, and some of them will coordinate with a color. So just explaining that a little bit. So anyway, all of the Nantucket Pearls have a pearlescent shimmer. So it's not like a sparkly shimmer, it's pearlescent. So let me just let me zoom in a little bit, and I will move. This was golden angel wings, and I embossed that. And when I emboss my pieces, if they're not metal, if they're like resin like this, all I do is I take embossing ink refill, and I put like some, you know, little dots of it, and then I use a paintbrush and make sure to get it all around, and then I sprinkle with the embossing powder and then heat it, because sometimes I just like to use embossing powder rather than paint, because sometimes paint can be a hassle, and embossing powder, it's there. So I used every flower on my project is an I Am Roses, either rose or flower or lily. See, here's a lily. And then this is a door. It says a door, and I put some rhinestone chain here. And then there's a little clock here. And then these beautiful butterflies. And then some more roses and a lily. So there is my first Nantucket Pearls project, and I'm pretty happy with that. And let me grab my other one. So this one is a mixed media canvas, and it's actually 2 canvases, and I'll show you on the back. I just glued them together. Excuse me. So what I did is I just started gluing. I did some texture with some texture paste and some stencils. There's bricks, little squares, some swirls. And I didn't know exactly where I was putting everything, so I just textured a ton of stuff. And then I added laces and certain like filigrees, and like here's some filigrees, and then some chipboard elements. And then I just painted the whole thing white. Actually, I used clear gesso over it and then painted it white. And then I started adding embellishments and colors. Like this is the embossing powder that matches the seagrass green, and it is called, I should have got these out, sorry. It is called Orbit Olive Gold, I think, or Oak Leaf Olive. And that's just a beautiful, beautiful color. And this is the same embossing powder, but it is on a bronze filigree, so that's the color it shows up on there. Quite a difference, huh? Same embossing powder. And then this is the embossing powder, and that is different than on the filigree. This one matches the Whale Watch Blue, and it's also on this frame and right here. So it shows up different depending on the material that you're embossing. And then I added Cuddles and Kisses, some beautiful I Am roses, and I colored these with saltwater taffy and then took a paintbrush while it was wet and just touched the tips with the Whale Watch Blue. I thought that would be such a pretty variation of color. And then just some other odds and ends. I just stuck it on and, you know, made sure that I had all those colors. So this will be hanging up at CHA. So if you're going to be at, well, you won't see this until after CHA. So anyway, if I seen you at CHA, it was nice to meet you. Okay, now let's go to Totally 80s. Totally 80s has Bodacious Blush, Pretty in Pink Pink, Gag Me with a Spoon Gray, Cowabunga Copper, and Midnight Rendezvous Raven. So as you can tell, those colors are kind of hard to, you know, put in one project and try to make it look good. Even though I thought that those were definitely colors we needed, which I still think they were needed. We needed a shiny copper, we needed a shiny silver, we needed a dusty rose because we didn't have that. And then Midnight Rendezvous Raven and Pretty in Pink Pink were existing colors that were not in a set, and I thought, well, I'll use those. So I tried to coordinate them as well as I could, and I think I did a pretty good job. The only pink, Pretty in Pink Pink that you're going to see is right here, and that's the embossing powder, and up in this corner. Because that was the tough one. It was kind of hard to get that to match with the set. The rest of the colors matched great. The silver, the copper, the black, and the Bodacious Blush all matched really nicely together. I was kind of surprised. I thought it was the copper that was going to throw everything off, but it was the Pretty in Pink Pink. But that is a pink that I think is a necessity. You know, if you have Cotton Candy Pink, Saltwater Taffy, Pretty in Pink Pink is the next step up. That's going to give you a little bit more richer of a color and a beautiful silver shimmer. So what I did was I used a printer's tray, and this is embossed with the Queen Sheba Silver. Same with those. This is embossed with the Midnight Pewter, which matches the Midnight Rendezvous Raven. Cleopatra's Copper. I used both. I used that, and I also used Hibiscus Rose Orange, which is what matches the Bodacious Blush. And I kind of mix them. And then underneath you can kind of see that the Queen Sheba Silver's under there. And then I colored this with the Magical Micas as well as this. This was the spray. This was the spray. And this is just a brooch that I had and I thought was gorgeous. So, and it was black and gray. This is an metal filigree from D, Elegant Embellishments, and first I used the clear gesso, and then I colored it with Bodacious Blush. That's all that is that's just a beautiful, you know, vintage rose color. And then I made this flower spray, and I used Gag Me with a Spoon Gray on these leaves, and then same with these leaves here. I used the Cleopatra's Copper on all these filigrees. It turned out pretty nice. I'm pretty excited about how it turned out because it is kind of a tough thing to match, but you know, it really looks like a vintage, almost steampunky, but then once you see these flowers, that brings it back into, you know, the vintage and the Victorian. So there's my first project for Totally 80s. So I'm going to have a total of 4 projects. because I just decided to do 2 of each set. So here's my other totally 80s. And this one, I have to say, was a lot of fun. Did the same thing, 2 8.5 by, maybe these are 8 by 10. No, it's 9 3/4 by 7 7/8. So that's how small they are. They're just little guys. So what I did for this one, I added my laces and some of the elements, and I will be actually putting photos in that I took on my phone that shows the process. After I did that, I painted everything with Bob Ross black gesso. This is my favorite gesso, and it's almost empty. As you can see, I've used a lot of it. And then after that, I took white paint on my finger and I had it on my mat, so I didn't have a big glob of paint. I just kind of swirled my finger, and then I just lightly touched all the raised edges on the whole thing. And then after I did that, I just started spraying it. I added all the chipboard elements. I did not have any of the bling or the silver filigrees on at this point, and the flowers. I just had all of the chipboard, the lace, all that stuff. So then I started with copper here. I moved on to Bodacious Blush here, and then Gag Me with a Spoon Gray, and then right in this very top corner is Pretty in Pink Pink. I used the magicals as well as the sprays just to make it real bright. I used some magicals on here, and then I took these roses, I sprayed them with Midnight Rendezvous Raven, and then I mixed some white paint with a magical mica. So if you look at these flowers, I'll zoom in. If you look at these flowers, you can see this one has like a lighter tint, and this is more of a colored tint because I mixed the white paint on these ones with Bodacious Blush, and on this one it was Gag Me with a Spoon Gray. And then same up here with these ones. This one has Bodacious Blush, and then that Gag Me with a Spoon Gray. So that's what I did there. And then this little chandelier, I added some bling, some rhinestone chains, some more filigrees, and all of these filigrees I just left. These are all silver, and then this one over, oh, my husband scared me. And then this one right here is pewter, and then I made this rose out of filigrees. I don't know if you can tell, but it is 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. And I just twisted the filigrees into little petal forms and made a rose. So that is my totally 80s canvas. I hope that you like my projects, and I'm sure I had a blast at CHA. I can't wait to come back and show you guys my projects. So thanks for watching. Bye!